Hello everybody. Welcome to A Crafter's Crazy Obsessions. I'm Mauricia. This is a Flosstube Extra where we're going to talk about my birthday bash 2025. I turned 30 this year on August the 23rd, and I had the insane idea of starting, in all actuality, it's 30 projects because some of them are together. There's one set of patterns that are a group of 3 and they're little smalls, so I guess that will count as 3. So join me as I talk and walk through my plans for the 30 projects that I'm starting this month. So I'm going to hand it over to the voiceover and let's get started. Alright, so I forgot to mention earlier that I am breaking this up into 3 sections. The first one being full coverage, the second one being medium to large projects, and the third one being smalls. So let's get into it. First, we're going to go over the full coverages. There are 3. The first one is Deception. This is charted by Hade, Heaven and Earth Designs, art by Rachel Marks. I will be using all the called for thread and 25 count easy grid zig art. Next we have Beauty and the Beast by Tilton Crafts. I will be using all the called for, which is 25 count easy grid Lugana by Zig Art and all the DMCs. And the final full coverage is Pride of Her Kingdom, charted by Cross Stitch for Everyone on Etsy, art by Natalia. I am using 16 count easy grid Ada by Zig Art and all the called for DMCs. Moving right along onto large to medium projects. First up is Black Roses by Forest Embroidery. I will be using 32 count Circe by Under the Sea Fabrics. For the castle, I'll be using DMC 310. For the greenery, like the vines and the leaves and stems, I'll be using Pirate and Robin Jungle. And for the roses, I'll be using Pirate and Robin Raisin. Then there's the vase, closer to the queen, and the gate foliage behind the queen. That will be using Pirate and Robin Midnight. Then we have Zodiac Signs by the Tiny Modernist. I'll be using a 16 count Black Ada by Zig Art and all the called for DMC. Next we have Nostalgic Tarot by the Witchy Stitcher. I'll be using 16 count Black Ada by Zig Art and all the called for DMC. Next we have The Cryptids by the Witchy Stitcher. I am using 32 count Properly Primitive by Under the Sea Fabrics and using all the called for DMC. Next up is Disturbed Women by Lucy Beam. I am using 16 count Ada called Deadly Bloom by Witch's Garden Crafts on Etsy. I will be using not the called for, I'll be using Bog Witch by Pirate and Robin and a limited edition colorway from Forbidden Fiber Co. called Morgana. Next up is Siren of the Sea by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I will be using all the called for everything on this project. Moving right along into Beauty and the Beast by The Primitive Hair. I'll be using 32 count Doubloon by Picture This Plus and all the called for threads. Next up is Una Curse by the Witchy Stitcher. I'll be using a 14 count black Ada and all the called for threads, except for the Cosmo. I am subbing that out for DMC 782. Next up is Persephone's Garden by Jed X Stitch on Instagram and Etsy. I am going to be using 40 count Gothic by Picture This Plus. I will be using all the Pirate and Robin colors for this. Alright, next up we have Humphrey by Stacy Nash. This is part of the Animal Crackers series. I will be using 40 count either Picture This Plus Tycho or Oracle. I'm not 100% sure just yet, and all the called for threads. Then we have Rappaccini's Quaker by Bendy Stitches. I am going to be using 40 count Saltbush by Fox and Rabbit and all the called for threads. Next we have Sea Witch by Nora Corbett. I am not using the called for linen. I will be using Picture This Plus Haunted on a 32 count and all the called for threads and Mill Hill beads. Alright, we're on to the second to last project of the large to medium. This is Summer Gothic Sampler by the House of Cam. This was just recently released in the last few days, and when I was watching Cam the Stitcher's latest Flosstube, I was like, I have to have this. So I purchased the pattern and I got all the things I needed for this on order from 123 Stitch. But I couldn't decide on the fabric, so I chose 3 fabrics to audition, and they're all 36 count from Picture This Plus. We have Comfort, I think it's Comfort, Mystic, and Mirage. And we will be using all the called for DMC, except I may switch out DMC 321 for 310. I haven't decided yet, but it is a possibility, and I'll let you know if I do. And last but certainly not least is 365 by Works by ABC. I will be using 36 count Chosen by Forbidden Fiber Co. and all the called for threads that Works by ABC actually curated a thread pack for this to do all 3 of her patterns. So that includes 365, 324, and sequel 324. And I'll be starting this on August the 23rd, which is my birthday. And my plan is to work on a single motif for each day of the year I am 30. Alright, we're almost done. We have reached the smalls. I believe there are 11 smalls. So let's get into it. One of them I do not have a picture for, that isn't the chart, and I don't remember if it was a free pattern or if it was a paid for pattern. Unfortunately, the designer didn't put their name on it, so I cannot accredit that one. So that one is Not My Circus, Not My Monkeys, and it's just the same with, I think, a circus tent at the top, and I believe a monkey at the bottom. I am not 100% sure. I haven't looked at the pattern since I printed it off. I will be using a 32 count fabric. I am leaning towards probably Cactus Wren by Fox and Rabbit. That is a most definite probably. And I think I'm going to use DMC 310 for that. Next up is Death Floof by The Stitch Crypt. I believe they have their own website and are on Etsy. I will be using 14 count Frankenstein by Witch's Garden Crafts on Etsy and all the called for DMC. We have another Stitch Crypt pattern, which is Loch Ness Monster. I will be using Waterfall, which is a 28 count Lugana by Forbidden Fiber Co. and all the called for DMC. And our last, the Stitch Grip pattern, is You're in Danger. And I will be using a 32 count, I think, Cactus Wren for this one, and all the called for DMC. Next we have Hedgehog and Hyacinth by the Blue Flower. I am using 40 count Oracle by Picture This Plus, and for the threads I am using the DMC over the over dyes that were called for, along with the DMCs that were called for. I am subbing out the main color of the Hedgehog with Forbidden Fiber Co. 116, One of a Kind. Next up is Pigeon and Puddle by the Blue Flower. I am also using 40 count Oracle by Picture This Plus, and I'm using the thread pack from Pirate and Robin. Next we have To Love a Beast by World on a String by Dara on Etsy. I am using a 28 count Lugana called Stonewash by Atomic Ranch. I am not using the called for threads, which is 1 Weeks Dye Works and DMC. I converted everything to Weeks Dye Works except for 1 DMC, which was 800. We're almost to the end. We're on the second to last one, and this is Crafty Goose by Frizzy Lizzy Stitches on Etsy. I am using a 32 count, probably Cactus Wren. I am converting the pinks to purples on the DMC and just using all the called for after that. All right, everybody, we have reached the last pattern, and it's a 3-for-1 special, and it is Spooky Birthday Cupcakes by the Witchy Stitcher. I am not sure how I'm going to stitch these up, if they're going to be separate or together, but I will be stitching them each on 32 count Belfast linen in the colorway Charcoal by Forbidden Fiber Co. And I will be using all the called for DMC. And that concludes Birthday Bash 2025. Those are my 30 projects that I will be marathon starting August the 8th through the 10th, except for 365 because I'm starting it on my birthday, August the 23rd, and Hedgehog and Hyacinth because I've already started it. If any of these patterns caught your fancy and you want to partake in celebrating my birthday, please do so. Tag me on Instagram or email me. I would love to see any of the progress any one of you have made. And if you feel so inclined, please be sure to like and subscribe. Just so I don't know, just because, if you like this channel. If you don't, I totally understand. I am not everybody's cup of tea. So as I leave you with the slideshow of my pets, remember to spend time with your loved ones and doing the things you love. Until September, bye.